Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. While you were scrolling through social media last night, ordinary Nigerian citizens were quietly uploading real-time reports of voting irregularities, security incidents, and electoral violations to a platform that's revolutionizing how democracy gets monitored. Today, we're diving deep into EchoBeacon, a citizen-led civic technology platform that's transforming election monitoring in Nigeria. You'll discover how this grassroots approach is empowering everyday people to become democracy's watchdogs, why Nigeria's youth are leading this digital revolution, and what this means for the future of transparent elections across Africa. Let me bring in someone who's been tracking Nigeria's civic tech evolution closely to help us understand what makes EchoBeacon so significant in this landscape.
EchoBeacon represents something really fascinating. It's what they call a citizen-led platform for civic reporting and events monitoring. But to understand why this matters, we need to look at how Nigeria got here. The country has been on this incredible journey with electoral technology.
Right, and I imagine this didn't just appear overnight. What's the backstory here?
The MacArthur Foundation actually traces this back to 2009 when they supported the Berkman Klein Center at Harvard to organize basic ICT development meetings in Abuja. Back then, they were just trying to figure out how technology could improve governance. Fast forward to today, and we have sophisticated platforms like EchoBeacon.
That's a huge leap from basic meetings to real-time election monitoring. What changed?
Well, the MacArthur Foundation notes that the shambolic experience of previous elections created this urgency. They started funding platforms like Aggie, a social media aggregator that lets citizen observers mine social media posts for election incidents and flag them to authorities.
So EchoBeacon is building on that foundation?
Exactly, but it's evolved into something more comprehensive. EchoBeacon describes itself as enabling citizens collaborating and reporting civic events, not just during elections, but ongoing civic monitoring. It's like having a permanent civic pulse on what's happening across Nigeria.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Like, if I'm a regular person in Lagos or Kano, how do I use EchoBeacon?
What's clever about their design is the privacy-first approach. According to their platform, you can explore insights, maps, media, and reports without logging in. You only need to verify your identity when you're actually submitting reports or uploading media.
That's smart, lowering the barrier to access information while still maintaining accountability for contributions.
And they've made it work offline too, which is crucial in Nigeria where internet connectivity can be spotty. The platform is described as fast, offline, and ready to use. That means people can report incidents even when they don't have reliable internet.
That offline capability seems essential. But let's zoom out. How big is this civic tech movement in Nigeria?
The numbers are actually striking. A comprehensive study surveyed 2,600 Nigerian youths and found that 85.7% are inclined toward participating in electoral engagement. But here's the key part. 63.9% rely on civic tech tools for political participation.
Wait, so nearly 2/3 of young Nigerians are using technology as their primary way to engage politically?
That's right. And the research found that civic technology actually influences voting decisions among respondents. So platforms like EchoBeacon aren't just monitoring democracy, they're actively shaping it.
That's a huge responsibility. Are there other platforms doing similar work?
Absolutely. There's DataFight Elections Portal, which calls itself the largest repository of election data in Nigeria. They track everything from incident reporting to results across all 774 local governments. It's like a one-stop shop for election data.
So we're seeing this whole ecosystem of civic tech platforms emerge.
Exactly. And what's interesting is how they complement each other. While DataFight focuses on comprehensive data collection and analysis, EchoBeacon seems more focused on real-time citizen reporting and collaboration.
But I have to ask, is this actually working? Are these platforms making elections more transparent?
That's where it gets complicated. The 2023 elections revealed what researchers call a paradox. Technology improved aspects like voter accreditation and broadened access to election results, but systemic failures and cyber vulnerabilities actually undermined confidence in the process.
So technology was both the solution and part of the problem?
A study from Caleb University put it perfectly. The reliance on technology without adequate infrastructural support, legal clarity, and institutional integrity risks deepening public distrust rather than consolidating democratic gains.
That's a sobering assessment. So where does that leave platforms like EchoBeacon?
Well, there's actually some good news on the legal front. Nigeria just passed the Electoral Act 2026, which creates a much stronger framework for civic tech platforms to operate in.
How so?
The new law mandates electronic transmission of results and establishes stricter penalties for electoral misconduct. For example, presiding officers who frustrate electronic transmission face 6 months imprisonment or a 500,000 naira fine.
So there are real consequences now for trying to block transparency.
Right. And the law requires results to be transmitted electronically to ENEC's result viewing portal. This creates an official framework that platforms like EchoBeacon can work within and reference.
It sounds like the legal infrastructure is finally catching up to the technology.
Exactly. The Electoral Act 2026 was the result of 2 years of consultations with stakeholders, including ENEC, civil society organizations, and development partners. Senate leader Opeyemi Banele called it a collective work that involves nearly all critical stakeholders.
That collaborative approach seems to mirror what EchoBeacon is trying to do, bringing different voices together.
That's a great observation. And the research shows this collaborative approach has gender-specific impacts too. Civic tech was found to increase visibility of women in politics and advocacy for gender-specific policies.
So these platforms aren't just changing how we monitor elections, they're changing who gets to participate in the conversation.
Absolutely. The MacArthur Foundation's Join Bodhi strategy, which means solidarity or working together, was specifically designed to promote civic participation and collective action around anti-corruption and accountability.
And they're seeing results from this approach?
The MacArthur Foundation says that looking back over 10 years, the credibility of elections has been enhanced. Lives have been saved. That's not just about technology, that's about people using technology effectively.
Lives have been saved. That really puts the stakes in perspective.
It does. And platforms like EchoBeacon are part of this broader movement. ENEC has been deploying increasingly sophisticated technologies, from the voter enrollment device to the bimodal voter accreditation system to the result viewing portal.
So EchoBeacon is operating in this ecosystem where both official and citizen-led monitoring are becoming more sophisticated.
Right. And what makes EchoBeacon unique is its focus on ongoing civic monitoring, not just elections. Their tagline is citizens collaborating and reporting civic events. That's broader than just electoral monitoring.
So they're trying to build a culture of civic engagement, not just election time activism.
Exactly. And the research shows this is working. Studies found that people who engage with civic tech tools display higher emotional intelligence and increased engagement with social issues.
That's fascinating. So using these platforms actually makes people better citizens?
The evidence suggests it. When people have tools to report problems and track solutions, they become more invested in the process. It's not just passive consumption, it's active participation.
But let's be realistic about the challenges. What are the biggest obstacles these platforms face?
Infrastructure is huge. The 2023 election study highlighted infrastructural limitations and cyber vulnerabilities. You can have the best platform in the world, but if people can't access it reliably, it doesn't matter.
And that's where EchoBeacon's offline capability becomes crucial.
Absolutely. But there's also the challenge of misinformation. Research on the 2023 elections found that while social media fostered political engagement, misinformation posed a major challenge to credible electoral discourse.
So how do platforms like EchoBeacon address that?
Well, their verification system is key. They require identity verification for submitting reports, which creates accountability. And their privacy policy emphasizes that they collect only what's necessary to verify your identity and support your reports.
It's this balance between openness and accountability.
Right. And the broader trend is encouraging. INEC's own technology handbook shows they've been systematically building capacity from 2015 to 2025, creating a foundation that citizen-led platforms can build on.
So we're seeing this convergence of official and grassroots efforts.
Exactly. And with the Electoral Act 2026 creating stronger legal frameworks and penalties, platforms like EchoBeacon have more solid ground to operate on. The law establishes dedicated funding for INEC and mandates electronic transmission. That creates an environment where civic tech can thrive.
Looking ahead, what does this mean for Nigeria's democratic future?
I think we're seeing the emergence of what you could call participatory democracy, where citizens aren't just voting every 4 years, but actively monitoring and reporting on governance in real time. EchoBeacon is part of that shift.
And this could be a model for other African countries?
Absolutely. Nigeria's experience with civic tech, both the successes and the challenges, provides a roadmap. The key lesson is that technology alone isn't enough. You need legal frameworks, infrastructure, and most importantly, citizen engagement.
So when you step back from all this, what's the real significance of platforms like EchoBeacon?
They represent a fundamental shift from top-down election monitoring to bottom-up civic engagement. Instead of waiting for official reports or international observers, ordinary citizens become the eyes and ears of democracy. That's powerful.
And with 63.9% of Nigerian youth already relying on civic tech for political participation, this isn't just a trend, it's becoming the norm.
Right. These platforms aren't just monitoring democracy, they're actively shaping how the next generation engages with it. That's the real revolution happening here.
EchoBeacon and platforms like it aren't just changing how Nigeria monitors its elections, they're redefining what it means to be a citizen in a democracy. When ordinary people have the tools to report, collaborate, and hold power accountable in real time, democracy becomes something you do, not just something that happens to you. The next time you hear about election monitoring in Africa, remember this: the most powerful observers might not be the international delegations or official bodies, they might be citizens with smartphones, using platforms like EchoBeacon to ensure their voices are heard and their votes count. Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts.